it's Dawn from Ninja Bunny Crochet. Today I have for us to do the Little Dreamers baby blanket. It is done in square motifs. It's all double crochet, single crochet, and chain stitches. Very easy to do. Each square is worked in the round, and then the squares are sewn together. So let's just drop the camera down, talk about the yarn, the hook size, and anything else you might need to work this baby blanket. Alright, I worked the Little Dreamers baby blanket all in Lion Brand Pound of Love. Pound of Love is 100% acrylic yarn. It is a medium 4 yarn. These balls come in 16-ounce size, 454 grams, 1,020 yards, or 932 meters. You are going to need 16 ounces of yarn to make this blanket. How it breaks down is you're going to need approximately 510 yards of your main color, which I use this white, and about 250 yards of each of your accent colors. Those aren't exact numbers, those are approximate numbers, but you're going to use approximately 16 ounces of yarn total, all colors combined, to make this blanket. You will need a J hook or 6mm hook. I'll be using my Clover or More hook for this demonstration. A yarn needle to weave in your ends, and a pair of scissors. Once you have all your supplies, let's get started. Before we jump into today's tutorial, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's that little icon down in the corner with my picture on it that'll automatically subscribe you to my channel. And if you like content like this, be sure to hit that bell button. That'll notify you whenever I upload a new video. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That lets YouTube know that you like my videos. Now to start the Little Dreamers blanket, we're going to start with one of the contrast colors. In this case, I'm going to be starting with the pastel pink. I'm going to start with a slip knot on our hook. And we're going to go ahead and chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to slip stitch to that first chain that we made to form a ring. Chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. That counts as our first double crochet. We're going to put 2 more double crochets into the ring. 1, and 2. Now you can go ahead and work over your tail, or you can just push it to the side. Chain 1 and put 3 more double crochets into the ring. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1 again. 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1 again. 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1. And we got 1, 2, 3. Right there. 1, 2, 3. And this will be our 4th corner. And now we're going to slip stitch to the top of that chain 3. So we have 1, 2, 3. And we're going to slip stitch to the top of that chain 3. Except we're not going to complete that slip stitch yet. We're going to change colors. So we're just going to drop our pink, and we're going to grab our white, and we're going to slip stitch. Now what I like to do when I first add a new color is I like to go ahead and just put a little knot in there. You can always undo the knot later, but just to hold it tight while you're stitching. It doesn't have to be tight, doesn't have to be a big knot, just a little knot just to hold it in there. Now to start round 2, we're gonna start with our white, not our pink. We're gonna chain 1, and we're gonna put a single crochet between that chain 3 and the previous double crochet. So here's our chain 3 that we slip stitched into right here, and this last double crochet. So we're going to bring our hook back, go in between there, and place a single crochet just like that. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to place another single crochet right back into that same space. Just like that. So you have this little loop in your corner. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to jump over to our next chain 1 space, and we're going to repeat that. So we're going to single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet right back into that same chain space. Then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, jump to the next chain 1 space, and single crochet, and chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet right back into that same chain space, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, jump to the next chain space, and repeat that again. 1, 2, 3. This is probably the most awkward round, is round 2. And chain 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to slip stitch back to that first single crochet that we made. We're going to drop our white and pick up our pink. And just give that white a little bit of a tug to tighten it back up. And now we're ready to start round 3, but if you look, you have a nice little square. We're going to slip stitch into that chain 3 space. So just place a slip stitch into that chain 3 space. Now we're going to chain up 3, 1, 2, 3, and now that's going to count as our first double crochet for round 3. Place 2 more double crochets into that chain space, 1, 2, and that counts as 3 double crochets, chain 1, and put 3 more double crochets into that chain space to complete the corner. We're going to jump to the next chain 3 space, and we're going to put 3 double crochets into it. So 1, 2, and 3. Let me just pull out a little more yarn here, so bear with me just 1 second. Okay, sorry about that, had a little knot. So now we're at the corner, and we're going to place 3 double crochets, two and 3, chain 1, and 3 double crochets. and that's for every corner when you're doing your double crochet rounds, are 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. Next chain 3 space, you're going to put 3 double crochets into that chain space. And then we're at the next corner. So you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around till you get back to the beginning, and we're going to slip stitch to that top of the chain 3, but we're going to change colors back to the white. So that's 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, and we're back at the corner, 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, then 3 double crochets in the next chain space, and we're ready to slip stitch to the corner. I'll meet back up with you when you're at the beginning again. I'm at the end of round 3, and I just want to show you, if your white starts to separate like this, just grab your white and give it a little tug and it'll pull it back together again. So we're going to go ahead and slip stitch to the top of that chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to drop our pink, grab our white, and slip stitch. And now we're ready to start round 4. And for round 4, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to go in between the chain 3 that we just slip stitched into and the previous double crochet, which is right here, and that's where we're going to place our single crochet. So we're going to reach back, go in between the two, pull up that loop, and single crochet. That's probably the most difficult single crochet of the entire blanket. Then chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to skip over to the corner, and in the corner we're going to single crochet, chain 3, and single crochet. Then chain 3, and we're going to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go in between the next 2 stitches and single crochet. So kind of like when you're working a granny square. And chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet between the 2 stitches. Just like that. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're at the corner, and we're going to go into the chain space, single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet. So I'll show this side to you one more time, and then you can finish up on your own. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet between the 2 stitches. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet between the 2 stitches. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip the 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and we're at the corner, single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet back into the same chain space. So continue this the rest of the way around, and I'll meet back up with you at the end of the round. Now, just like in round 2, we're going to slip stitch to that first single crochet that we made, but we're going to change colors and grab up our pink, just like that. And now we're going to slip stitch into that next chain space to start our next round. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to start round 5. Make sure we're holding our pink. I'm just going to slip stitch into that chain space, chain up 3, 1, 2, 3. That counts as our first double crochet. And we're going to do 2 more double crochets into that chain space. And that brings us to our corner. And our corner is 3 double crochets, chain 1, and 3 double crochets. We're going to come to our next chain space, and it's 3 double crochets. Very simple. Next chain space, 3 double crochets. Of course, I got a yarn monster following me here. And the next chain space again, 3 double crochets. And then we're going to come up on our corner, and our corners are 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. I guess you could call this a granny square, just a different type of granny square. And continue this pattern all the way around till you get back to the beginning, and I'll meet back up with you at the end of the round. I've made it all the way back around, and we're going to slip stitch to the top of that chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. And we're going to change colors back to our white. Now we're done with our contrasting colors. We're done with our pink. So we can just go ahead and snip this off. Leave yourself a good length here so that you can weave that in. So we can just get that pink right on out of there. So now we're going to chain 1, and just like our previous rounds, we're going to start with our single crochet between that chain 3 and the previous double crochet. So we're just going to reach our hook back, put it in there, pull up our loop, and complete our single crochet. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip the next 3 stitches, or this stitch right here and these 2, and go in between and single crochet. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now we're at the corner because we're going to skip these 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to go right to that corner, single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, go right back into the corner. So we make our little chain 3 loop in the corner, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, go in between those 2 stitches and single crochet. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip the next 3, 1, 2, 3, go in between, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, go in between, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip those 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, go in between, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip the next 3, 1, 2, 3, we're at the corner, and chain 3, 1, 2, 3, go back into that corner, make our chain 3 loop, and we're just going to continue that all the way around till we get back to the beginning, and I'll meet back up with you at the end of the round. I'm at the end of round 6, and we're going to slip stitch to that first single crochet that we made. We're not changing colors this round, and to start round 7, we're just going to go ahead and slip stitch right into that next chain 3 space, chain up 3, 1, 2, 3, counts as our first double crochet, 2 more times into that same chain space, skip to the next chain space and put 3 double crochets in there, 1, 2, and 3. And that'll bring you to the corner, and corners are still the same, 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. More double crochet in there, and that completes our corner. And then we're just going to go on. Each chain 3 space gets 3 double crochets, so continue working the pattern all the way around your square till you get back to the beginning. You're going to slip stitch to the top of the chain 3 and go ahead and fasten off. I'll meet back up with you at the end of this round, and we'll weave in all of our ends, and the square will be finished. So I'll meet right back up with you. I'm at the end of row 7, and we're just going to slip stitch to the top of that chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go ahead and fasten off. And let's back out the camera a little bit here. And here is your completed square. And we have our ends to weave in. Now if you worked over your tail on this, you can pull it and close this hole a little bit, but if you didn't work over your tail, you'll need to take up your yarn needle and run it through just like this. So that you can close up this hole a little bit. Like that, and then you can just pull it closed. And then I just like to run a few stay stitches through the center there. Just to make sure it stays closed. Though with the chain 5 method, if it does open up a little bit, it's not going to unravel your whole blanket like it might with a magic ring would unravel the whole blanket. With this method, it will not unravel your whole blanket. Of course I got a little something stuck in there too. Then go ahead and just weave in all of your ends. You will need 20 squares for your blanket. 5 length, 4 across. If you want to make your blanket bigger or smaller, you can make less squares or more squares. So once you get all of your squares done, I'll show you how we can sew them together, and then we'll work on the border. Since I've already made my blanket, I'm just going to make a couple more squares, and then we'll work on sewing them together, and then we'll work on the border. So we'll be right back. When sewing your squares together, put your right sides of your squares together. Thread up your yarn needle, and how I like to do it, I put a little slip knot, little slip loop on one end, thread up my yarn needle on the other end. Start in the corner, look for that chain stitch, and I go ahead and find that chain stitch and put my yarn needle through the chain stitch and through the slip knot, and tighten down that slip knot onto my thread, and then you can just slide it right down and your yarn is nicely attached. Now you want to be careful when you're stitching to make sure that you're lining all of your 3 clusters stitches up so that everything lines up nice and pretty on your squares. So you just take your first 3 stitches, and I just go through 1 loop. The 2 loops that are closest together. Now you can, if you want to stitch yours, if you have a different method of stitching your squares together, that's fine. This is just how I do it. Whatever method you prefer, I'm just letting you know how I put mine together. Then I go to the next 3 and do this. And I do this for every seam that I put together. Just like that. I just do 3 stitches at a time, whether it's doing just across 2 squares or doing an entire row. I said that one's already stitched, so I go to the next one. And do that all the way across until you get to the last chain stitch right there. And then you can go ahead and fasten off, and your 2 squares will be connected. And you do that with all of your squares to get your entire blanket all put together. Once you have all your blanket put together, then we'll go over how to make the border. I am going to show you how to do the border on just these 2 squares right here, but it'll work for the entire blanket. So once you have all of your squares sewn together, we're going to work on the border. And this is what the border looks like on the blanket. And I'm going to show you how to do this border on just those 2 squares that I was sewing together. And this is what the corner looks like as well. So let's get those squares out and let's get started on the border. So we can start in any corner. Just get your yarn and put a slip knot on it, and we're going to go ahead and attach our yarn with a slip stitch. Chain 1 and go ahead and put a single crochet back into that same corner. Chain up 3, 1, 2, 3, go back into that same corner with a single crochet. So we're going to have our little chain 3 loop. Bring that down a little bit more. And chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet in between. This is just like when we were doing the rounds. Skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet in between. 1, 2, 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet in between. 1, 2, 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet in between. 1, 2, 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet in between. 1, 2, 3, skip 3, single crochet in between. 1, 2, 3, and you reach your corner, and that's a single crochet. 1, 2, 3 chains and a single crochet. And you're going to do that all the way around till you reach the beginning, and you're going to slip stitch to that first single crochet. What I do want to point out is when you get to a join, you're going to have your single crochet, chain 3, and then you're going to single crochet right in the center of the join, then chain 3 and jump over, skip 3 stitches and single crochet. So you're going to do that for every single join that you come across. So once you complete that, I'll meet back up with you and we'll start the second round of the border. I've made it all the way back around. We're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet that we made. To start round 2, I'm going to slip stitch into that chain 3 space right there on the corner. Chain up 3, 1, 2, 3. That counts as our first double crochet. We're going to double crochet 2 more times into that chain space, 1 and 2. And now we're going to do our first picot stitch. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch into that first chain that we made. That forms that little picot stitch. And then we're going to put 3 more double crochets into that chain space. That's 1, 2, and 3. And that forms our corner. Get the hook out of your way there. Okay, then we're going to make another picot. So chain up 3, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into that first chain, and then we're going to make 3 double crochets into the next chain space. So 1, 2, 3, then we do another picot. So we're going to be doing a picot stitch in between each set of 3 double crochets. And we move on to the next chain space and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Picot. and move on to the next chain space with 3 double crochets. And you're going to continue this all the way around. In the corner, it's 3 double crochets, picot, 3 double crochets. So continue working this all the way around, and I'll meet back up with you at the end of the round. So once you come all the way back around, you go ahead and slip stitch to the top of the turning chain, or the top of the chain 3. It's not a turning chain, it's all done in the round. And then you just weave in your ends and you're all done. So if you've liked this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that bell so you won't miss any of my tutorials. Thanks for watching, and happy crocheting! Bye-bye!